Welcome to the Immigrant Entrepreneurs Show, where our mission is to inspire, impact, and influence other immigrant entrepreneurs to follow their dream and create the future. My guest today is Donny. Donny has actually been here before. I think, Donny, you are my second guest on the show. Is that right?
Yeah, one of the first, second or third.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
Things have changed.
So Donny Minchillo from all the way from St. Pete, Florida. And things have changed, as you said, because I'm based now in Switzerland. You're still in Florida. So, Donny, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. And for all the guys that have missed us, I hope a little bit, we have had some, let's say, break, and we'll talk about it, why and what happened during that break. And then also you guys definitely want to hang around till the end because we have some big announcement and big news to share. And you'll find out what I'm doing. You'll find out what Donny is doing and why he's here today, why he decided to come back on the show. And as I said, you definitely want to hang around, and we have some, let's say, changes and new things coming on. And we'll talk about, I would say we covered that a little bit in the second half of the show. Donny, what do you think?
I think it's a great idea. Yeah, it is definitely a big announcement. Some big changes coming up for both of us. A lot of things have happened already, which
That's
we'll
right.
cover. And
That's right.
More things to come in the near future.
Exactly. So I would say first things first. I don't exactly recall when was the last show or the last episode, but it's been a while. And as I said, we came back to Switzerland as of December 2025. We're recording this mid-June 26. So it's been a while. Business-wise, also a few things happened in my life. I sold the business or sold my shares in one business that was basically my, I would say, my major business that I was partnering. And I cannot talk about what's going on right now because I'm in the middle of a transaction. And but I can say that much that it's a new thing happening for me. It's also a big step and a big change business-wise, but I'm really excited, and we'll talk about that. So on the family side of things, also a few things, not a few things, but a big thing that we're expecting. We are expecting our third child. It's going to be end of September. So really excited for that. And we also know that it's going to be a lot of work, But I think going from number one to number two, you realize how much work it is. And then going from number two to number three, we take things a bit more relaxed and let's say we're prepared as much as we can be. And congratulations to you, Donny. You had your second. So
Well, I think I was going to say the first time we talked, I think we both at that time we only had one.
That's right.
At that time.
That's right.
And then we had a second, and then you have a third now. So we are now a family of four. You're about to be a family of five. And it's interesting the point that you made, how much more work the second child is, when it comes. It's so much more work, but it's a blessing. It's great. And it's super fulfilling. And it's definitely been an experience. And good luck to you on that third one.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
When is the baby due?
Is end of September.
Awesome. Okay, coming up.
So yeah,
I hope you're getting ready.
Absolutely. We had, my wife was saying we had all our kids in April and May, and now we have a kind of a summer baby coming our way. So it's
awesome.
It's a new thing. We're really excited.
And congratulations on sale of your shares of the
Thank you,
business.
man. Thank you.
It's a big
Yeah,
step.
it is
And
absolutely. And it was not something that I was planning or I was, preparing for. I was approached, and then things felt right. I also felt that it was the right time to do it, and yeah, I'm also excited for the next thing that I'm doing or planning to do or about to do, whatever you want to call it. But
mhm.
yeah, man, things feel right. I also believe and feel that life comes in phases. I've said that before. I truly believe and live by that mantra that life comes in phases. And when you get to a point, you also need to let go of things in order to receive new things. And yeah, um, so
So true.
I've said
What's
it.
next? Are you able to share what's next business wise for you? Or maybe
I
that can
cannot.
be
No, no,
okay.
I cannot, man. I would love to share, but I
Oh.
cannot. Um, yeah, I cannot. But I'm more than happy to share it. Maybe in a month or two, if
Oh,
we get a
awesome.
chance. So yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So, what you tell me, man? Now, back to you. What has changed from the last time we spoke? And other than having a growing family, business wise, what has changed? Where are you at, and what's going on?
Yeah. Well, besides the family growing, my cleaning company, so I own a couple of different main businesses and a minor Airbnb going on the side. But on the cleaning company, I believe, from the time that we had the first podcast, we've pretty much doubled in size, which has been, thank you, a great experience, a great journey, a learning experience. I think you've talked on your show how the business can only grow based on how much the owner grows. And if the person doesn't grow, it makes it very difficult because there's more people involved, more processes, and if you're not willing to learn and grow, the process of growing it's almost impossible. So I've been spending a lot of time really focusing on what does it look like to be a business owner that is in the multi seven figures, and I still recognize that there's still so much room to go. Like I still would
Mhm.
like to be an 8, 9 figure, business owner one day. And I'm sure I will be, and it's on the way. But that's down on the cleaning business. I am launching a software. I've recognized that in this, especially in cleaning, but overall in the residential services, the day-to-day operations tend to be somewhat chaotic. For some businesses more, some businesses less, but it tends to have a lot of Google Sheets, a lot of Google documents, a lot of information all over the place without having one centralized system. And you might have a scheduling or invoicing or system, but you still need to know what's going on with your team. You still need to know, are they showing up on time? You still need to have a good handle on your inventory, how much you're spending. You still need to provide information to your technicians when they're out on the field and not have to wait so much time in order to get that information in order for them to do the work, right? So about August, September last year, I recognized, okay, it's time for us, because I have a tech background, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. But I recognize, okay, we need to build something, and it's not just for the benefit of joy of cleaning, right? I think we can build something that can help other cleaning companies as well. And as we were building it, the I recognize, oh wow, there is even more of a need for this piece of software than I thought. So we went all in. So we started in August, September development for Joy of Cleaning, this tool, this software. And then towards December, we recognize, okay, this is something that every cleaning company needs. And fast forward to today, we have a team dedicated to that with a couple of developers, project management, QA. We're redesigning the website. So we're doing, we're really building this SaaS. Now, fast forward to today, from December, when we recognized let's open to all cleaning companies, we realized, well, it's not just the cleaning companies that can utilize this system. Pest control companies, pool cleaning companies, carpet cleaning, right? So we're about to really put it all out there. We have, we've been testing internally. We have a few people that are testing it. We are talking to a lot of people that have a reach, influencers, YouTube channels, associations, right? So we're, and I'll share a little bit more. Actually, it's called Joy AI. And it's been really exciting to see technology meet the home services in such a simple industry as like house cleaning, right? When people think of house cleaning, it's like, oh, you mop floors and you clean toilets. There's so much more to that, right? And I mentioned this on a previous podcast. Like, I don't see what we do as mopping floors and sweeping and cleaning toilets. We are changing that person's day, changing the client's life by giving them time to spend time with their kids, to go to a yoga class, to have more time for themselves instead of having to clean their homes. So we have a lot of conversations internally with our technicians, with our admin team about that, and how much of a change we are providing, or how big of an impact we're having on all of our clients. And on the tech side, I own Pineapple Development. We've grown. For some reason, how sometimes just things take its own trajectory, where we're now focused on the tire industry, more automotive in terms of development. We just, like, for some reason, connections, people, right, relationship, more projects in that industry have come to us. So for those that don't know, the company is called Pineapple Development, and we do mainly Magento development. We don't do any design or copy or anything like that. We write code, and like we do complex integrations. And that company has been really great. It's been very interesting to see something that I almost left it as I was pretty hands off, and I was very wary about being hands off, right? Just like with being a business owner, you don't want to let go. And as you let go, if you have things in place, like things, just like if you have good people, they work out and they can even get better. And now we have a few things happening where I am getting a little bit back on it, but it's still a business that I'm super proud of. We're doing really big things for the tire industry, and it's been really cool.
I love that, man. So, couple of questions. I was taking notes, as you could see. Number one, by the way, you know that we had your company clean our house. We were in Florida, and seriously, I'm not saying this to please you or whatever. It is because it's truth, and it's also my wife's feedback. I feel I can share that. And number one, my wife has a hospitality degree. She studies hotel management and hospitality. So she's very picky, when it comes to cleaning and these things. And every time we came home after Hannah was her name, if I'm not mistaken, every time we came back, sometimes I was working when she was there from home office, and we felt number one, as you said, everything was so clean, but number two, everything smelled well, and it was just a different kind of feeling coming home to a clean, nice home than having to do things yourself. Is, as you say, you get a feeling. It's a part of a lifestyle that you get when you have a company that does this service for you. So that's just a side
Thank
note,
you.
okay?
Thank you.
Absolutely. And then she was like, hey, these guys, because we also dealt with not cleaning companies, but with other companies that would overpromise, underdeliver. They would not show up when they had to show up, and all these kinds of things. And she was like, hey, these guys are so well organized, you know even when we communicate, they really communicate well. Even if I say something, they know, I don't know, whatever they have on the backside, how they're organized, but their structure is really top. top notch. I was like, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
It's funny. People don't realize, not just with the cleaning or joy of cleaning, but in business, a lot of times people don't realize how much work goes behind the scenes in communicating with your team, with creating processes and standards, right? So you can follow in order to provide that service. There's so much work that goes behind the scenes. And I think that actually, let me take a moment to recognize and appreciate the admin team that sometimes they don't get the recognition, right? The cleaning technicians that are doing the work, a lot of times they get the reviews or they mention their
mhm.
names or they get the tips, right? But there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes, from lead generation to marketing, content creation, sales, right? Customer service. And all of those are super important for the business. In order to provide that service, everyone, we all have to do a great job.
100%. So my next question, Donny. I mean, I know at least for the joy of cleaning, you had a CEO, right? So I also see that you're a CrossFit fanatic. You're always working out, and um, but you have so many things going on. You have a family now with two kids. Then you have this um, tech company. Then you have this Joy AI. You have your cleaning company. What I mean, do you have CEOs who run all these companies on their own, and you communicate with them, or how does it look like? Because we also have heard that you need to focus, you need to put all your attention in one thing. I want to know what's your experience.
Yeah, well, for me, I am actually the CEO as of now. Well, I think there's a lot of different things, and priorities tend to shift over time, right? Because I think it's hard to have equal attention to everything, because if it, and I'm speaking about my case, that I don't have a CEO for these two main companies, and the Joy AI we're in the process of launching. It's not a company that have been around for a long time or have lots of employees, but I think that focus is super important, right? And I think that I mean, let me step back. Focus is extremely important, but the people are more important. The people that you have, right? I think if you don't have people that you trust and people that you can be transparent and open and have direct conversations with, it makes things very difficult. And also to touch on, behind the scenes, I have Carol. She's here on listening here as a producer here on the show, and she has been helping me so much with a lot of things that I have to juggle, from a personal life to also business. So I think that understanding that the time that you have is limited, right? You only have so much time in a day. You have so many days in a week, and you have a personal life. I think that one of the goals that I wrote in December was a personal goal, was to really be intentional about spending time with family. Because as
Mm,
an entrepreneur, as you can imagine, like there's so much brain power, so much, a huge percentage of your brain goes into business related decision making, or what you need to do or not do. And I noticed last year that family was almost becoming a secondary thing in some ways, right? And then, when I get home, I'll do this, or making decisions as if, okay, after the fact, okay, I'm home, I'll spend the time with the kids or the wife, or let's do dinner after. But I think that when you prioritize family, right, and especially your kids, I mean, once you have kids, it's like things change, right? um Almost, I guess, like, it takes away a little bit of the worry of the business, because everything's okay at home, and that your kids are
mhm.
okay. That you're spending the time with your wife, and with the family, and if everything is okay there, things are okay here. Of course, we're gonna have problems to solve, or things to difficult conversations, But I think that that was a huge focus on mine. But to go back to your question a little bit, um, I've been working more on allocating time on my calendar and being more proficient with my calendar, and being more intentional when I work, and not let these other businesses or things that I'm working on affect on what I am focused on at this moment. Right now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm here with you. Like
Mm-hmm.
the phone is off. I have some notes here, but I'm not looking at anything. I'm not thinking about anything else. And it's a process, because in my mind before, I always thought, oh, I can have this and this in the back of my mind. I'm going to think about this, and oh, I'm going to do this later. And I realized that it was taking away from what I had in hand at that moment. So to go back, to tie it back, full circle here, is like focus, whether it is the business, what you have in hand at the moment, or the family, I think is like huge, super important.
Mm-hmm. That's really important. And I also realized sometimes that right now, I give you an example. When I'm listening to you, I'm being in the moment. And when I'm listening to you, when you say something, you're explaining something. Even when as you know, with you, I don't only mean you. I mean generally, when we're in a conversation, when we're listening to someone, we usually are preparing for the next thing that we want to say after they're finished. That's
Mm-hmm.
why we interrupt people sometimes, right? But when you're truly listening, and I've seen that with people that are really great listeners, they even pause for a few seconds. After you're done, they pause for a few seconds, they process it, and then they come up with the next thing. You know, I'm
So
not,
true.
I'm no master in this, but I've realized it. And sometimes I remind myself that it's so important in order to be a great listener. You just need to listen and not think about what's the next thing that you're going to say after they are finished.
In order to be a great communicator, you have to be a great listener. It's not only about
Absolutely.
talking, right? Yep, for sure.
Yeah. 100%.
Great
Right,
point.
my friend. Um, so, we also talked about a little bit in the beginning of the show that we have some secrets to reveal. We have some things to share. Um, let's do it. Are we ready?
What's next for you, Ali?
What's
Now's
next?
the time.
What's next for me, man? I'm in the middle of this transaction, as I said, and when it's done, and we're, I would say, 90 something percent done with it. I don't want to talk more about it, but when it's done, then all my focus goes in there, and this is what I'm gonna do for the time being and the near future. And I would say this brings me to our next topic, which which I also believe, as I said a few minutes ago, when the time is right, you also need to let go, in order for other new projects, new people to come to your life, and new to approach a new phase of your life. So that being said, um, we talked about it. You approached me. You asked me some time ago. You asked me, "Hey, what's going on with the podcast?" You know,
That is right. Mm-hmm.
um, and so before before I talk about what was going on with me, let's give you the follow-up question. And can you tell me what made you approach me with this question? And then we can come back to me.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I believe it was maybe 2 months, 3 months ago. I listened to a lot of your episodes, and then I just realized after a few months, I'm like, well, I haven't seen anything from Ali. Like, what's
Where's
going
this
on in
guy?
his life? Yeah, where is
Where's
this guy?
this guy?
And then I messaged you and I
Mhm.
said, hey, what's going on? And you mentioned, oh, you just decided to take a little break, family, kids, new new family member coming, and you asked me something. Do you remember? And then, do you want to go in detail on what you said? I can go. I can.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
And you asked, do you want to take over? And then I said, I would be lying if I said that I didn't think about it. And then you just said, well, let me know. And I shared with you what I had on my goals in December. I don't know if you remember
Hmm.
this, but
Of course I do.
let me take a moment to share that, because I think it's super important, not just because of this, what just happened here, which is it's an example that if you put it out there, things can and will happen, right?
Hmm.
So to summarize, my wife and I, we've been writing our goals, and we don't have just like one or two goals, or we just decide on what the goals that we have for the next year. We have specific categories that we want on certain things that we want to accomplish. Some of them could be skills to learn, books to read, place to visit, what our home looks like. And a couple of them is, so as I mentioned, skill to learn, and then a calling. What is the calling for you for next year? And when I said, hey, I would be lying if I said that never crossed my mind, because it did. Two
Hmm.
of the goals that I wrote back in December, which was months before I reached out to you, was a skill to learn was get better at communication, but more specifically in a podcast format. That was number one, because I knew that I wanted to do this. I'm from Brazil. I'm an immigrant, right? I know a lot of
Hmm.
people that came from different countries, and they would like to build a business. They would like to do bigger things, right? And the calling I wrote, I would like to help immigrants that are here in the United States get better, right? See more opportunities, seize opportunities that come up to them, not be afraid and feel that they are just stuck with what they are doing, have been doing. So those two things, right? It's so interesting that I wrote something down in December. Podcast, help immigrants. And you have a podcast that is called the Immigrant Entrepreneurs. How is this possible? How can this happen, right? And it's just
Hmm.
like how? And here we are today, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're here having a conversation, and what's
Yeah,
next?
man. And the reason so obviously I was like, okay, he's asking me, Donny's asking me what's going on with the podcast. I knew I cannot dedicate the time and focus and energy to this show in order to make it what it deserves to be, you know? And then I'm like, okay, Donny is asking me this question. Um, he he would be a great candidate, you know. Um, but also at the same time, I, you know, I do have some expectations, you know, and I told you that before. My only expectation and the most important expectation is to make it to become what it deserves to be, you know, meaning to make it a great show that gives the value and you know, give something back to the community of immigrant entrepreneurs. Um, and I know, because I know you, you know, now quite some time. I know how you do things. I know that if you start something, you're doing it right, you know. Um, so and then I was like, okay, I don't wanna hold tight to these things only for the reason because I started this. Okay, that was the, you know, at that time it came to me, the idea came to me, I started everything. But when the time comes to let go, we have to let go. That's what I truly live by. And here we are. So to name it, Donnie is taking over the podcast. I'm gonna step back. Donnie is gonna be the producer, the host, the everything behind the show. And yeah, man, I'm really excited for what's coming. So
Thank you. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for allowing this to happen in my life, for the opportunity. I hope that I am able to continue the work that you started. I think you've it's funny because if you think about it, there's so many immigrant entrepreneurs in the US, and nobody ever thought about starting a podcast to help other immigrants.
Absolutely.
How can this be? And then you're in the US for a short period of time and you have that. I want to help people and I want to share information. I want to share experiences, right? So thank you for doing that for this community. There are hundreds of thousands of us, millions actually, millions in the US alone, and I hope that I can do as good of a job as you have done to share information, to highlight immigrants, because there are so many that have done amazing things in this country and have provided work, opportunity, and they deserve to be highlighted. So thank you
Mm.
for the opportunity, and I hope that you can come back in a month or two or three or
Absolutely.
whenever you're ready, and then you will be my guest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I would love that. And, so number one, also thank you for giving giving the time and dedication to this that it takes, because as we both know, is not going to be just a side project that you can do on I don't know, few minutes here and there and then go back. No, this is a project that it takes the time and focus and energy. And I also know that you have the team behind you to help and support you in order to make it what it deserves to be. So, but let me also add, we never talked about that. Let's talk it out in front of the camera. Or do you have? I mean, you do have fans, obviously, but what's for people to, what can they expect? Are there any changes? Are there any new formats? And yeah, what's going on in the future with the show?
Well, people are going to have to tune in to find out.
That's right.
Yeah, but I think, yeah, but I think I mean, you've brought such amazing guests to the show, and my goal is still, to do the same. I think that and you've done a few of them, a handful or a couple of them, where you went on by yourself, because I think it's also important to share some of the things that you're going through and some of the lessons that you're learning as an entrepreneur yourself. And there's a reason why you're the host, right? There's a reason why I'm taking over. I'm the host. I've been through a few things, I've learned a few things, and I would love to share my own experience as well with people, in the hope that the information that I share will help people get better, get to their goal quicker. So I think there will be, I mean, it's impossible to be the same because there's only one Ali, right? And there's only one
And
Donny.
there's
So
one Donny.
yeah. So I think that things will be slightly different, but the ultimate message and the goal is still being to help immigrant entrepreneurs. Whether you're here in the US or anywhere tuning in from anywhere in the world, the idea is that we share information that will help you get where you are and achieve the goals that you have as an immigrant.
Awesome. Awesome. I think I never did that, but I think you as a Brazilian is, it's right there that you should, or you could also bring some athletes
Hmm.
that,
Yeah. They are entrepreneurs, right? I mean, yeah.
they are entrepreneurs. And most of the time they are immigrant entrepreneurs, especially talking about Brazilian soccer players, for example,
We'll find out in
um,
a few weeks.
yeah, I mean, yeah, let's see where that goes. So, yeah, man, is there anything you would like to share with the audience before we wrap up and come to a close, for my last episode as a host?
Well, maybe I can just leave a promise to do the best that I can to provide as much information as I can to help people get to where they want to be. Um, and I'm gonna give everything I have. I mean, I think this is a great channel. As I said, you started something that hadn't been done, and it's something that was needed. It's a way to reach people that they weren't heard, or there was they couldn't relate, and they felt different. And now that they can hear, from people that are also immigrants, people that came from different countries. So I'm gonna, do my best, and I hope to, impact thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people in the years to come.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. So, the time has come for me to say goodbye as a host. I truly thank from the bottom of my heart to whoever gave their time to me and to the show. And for us, in order to take the word out and help our immigrant entrepreneurs to share their stories, and you're one of them. And I couldn't imagine anyone better to continue this show than you, Donny. So all the best and good luck to you, and a big thank you to our audience.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Do I stop recording now?
Yes.
Can I? Okay.
Yeah.